Just can't go too long without having another project. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Well, I really like to have projects to work on in my garage, and I finished up the KFX 700 quad that I was working on, the last project that I purchased. Finished it up and sold it. The first person who came by picked it up. Ended up making a little bit of money on that, so what do? Turn around and reinvest it in something else. Behind me here we have a Kawasaki Ninja 250. This is a awesome beginner's bike, and for some reason I have an affinity to these things. This is maybe about the 10th one that I have worked on, picked up and fixed and got going. I think I really enjoy them because of a couple of reasons. They're cheap. I can pick them up cheap once they're not running or whatever's going on with them. They're easy to work on, and I enjoy selling them because they are always selling to new riders, and I really like to see that spark of a new rider getting interested in owning their first bike and learning on a small, reasonably priced bike. It's a smart move. Instead of being that first-time bike owner who buys a big, expensive bike and then causes more damage, more monetary damage to it than the entire cost of a used Ninja 250. These are great little bikes as well, even if you are a experienced rider. For a shorter commute, it would be amazing. They do go the speed limit, no problem. These motorcycles will go up to about 100 miles an hour. They get amazing gas mileage. They're small, easy to park, they're cheap to maintain. So even as a experienced rider, there's a reason that you might want to own one. Yeah, cheap to insure, and riding two wheels is fun no matter what it is, at least in my opinion. Some people have different opinions on that. So I'm gonna get this thing unloaded, and I'll go over what's going on with it and give you an idea of what my plans are for this. And if my sister and my brother-in-law are watching, I just want to let you know I got my safety shoes on today. You can just see a little bit of the socks through here, but no more flip-flops for me. I want to make sure things are safe. There she is in all her glory. This is a 2007 Ninja 250, and they were very similar for many years. I think 2008 or 2009 they changed the body work on them a little bit, the frame body work. It was basically the same engine, and then they upped it to a 300 shortly after that. Added fuel injection, that sort of stuff. But for at least about 10 to 15 years, it was the same basic bike. This one is in okay shape. We got a little dent on the tank and some clear coat peeling off, but overall okay condition. The reason why I purchased this bike here is because it has a clean title, up-to-date title, and I have all of the body work. I've purchased some of these without body work, basically in the condition you see this one right now, and some people like them that way, and I made a pretty cool cafe racer out of one time. If I remember, I'll post a picture in here, but I prefer them to look stock, and a lot of people like them that way as well. They seem to sell easily that way. Now this one's just been neglected a little bit. It's been sitting outside. You can see the chain is getting rusty, and the fuel is bad on it. He said it didn't start. But let's see what we can do here. It does crank over, and I had it close to starting. Oh! So it does start. That's already one better. Yeah, I cranked it over and it was firing a little bit when I went to look at it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to clean this thing up. Carburetors are still probably going to come off even though it started. And we'll clean the chain, we'll check the tires, we'll do an oil change, and we will put all the body work on it and just do any other general cleanup on it. And that's probably all I'm going to do to it. Once all these parts are on here, looks like I'm missing turn signals off the back, which I might have some actual Ninja ones. I have a couple boxes of Ninja parts still right up there. There's 2 boxes of Ninja 250 parts, and I have a extra engine and an extra frame and an extra front wheel, lots of parts. So let me assess what's going on here and we'll come right back. So I ran it up a little bit with the choke on, see if it would clear out a little bit, but I was pretty sure that wasn't going to happen. So the carburetors are coming off. I also want to get this grab handle reattached on the back here. And I got some of the hardware for this, but I only had the hardware to install these little hooks or whatever here and like 4 more bolts. So this is my Ninja 250 stash of parts that I have. And here I have a whole bunch of hardware, so I should have enough stuff to get that attached and all the body work. That's all the hardware for this bike. You can see the other items I have, a whole nother set of carburetors and radiator and side panels and lower fairing. And there are some turn signals in here, but I don't know as if these are actual Ninja 250 ones or not. They might just be some that I threw in here, but I have a lot of extra turn signals around. So we'll see what I can make work. I've got the carburetors removed here. I'm taking the float bowls off. And I want to give a reminder out there for anyone who hasn't seen my channel or doesn't know about this already. Japanese screws are a little bit different than American. These you may think are Phillips head screws, but they are not. They are what is called JIS, which, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I believe it's Japanese industrial standard. So a lot of times when you're taking apart Japanese carburetors or any motorcycle parts that have what looks like a Phillips head screw, you'll just grab your number 2 Phillips or whatever, and you'll curse that the screws are stripping out all the time and darn people aren't making them good and all this and that, but these are actually JIS. Now my brother sent me this JIS screwdriver, so I'm using that here. And I would say usually on an old carburetor that hasn't been taken apart, I would have 2 or 3 of them that would strip out or cam out, but 0 of them did on this carburetor. And you can see inside of there's a little bit of gummy residue, and my thoughts are that the idle jets are probably gummed up. You can definitely see the idle air jet. It's got a lot of gumminess on it, which is kind of odd, but not unusual. So we're going to throw all this stuff in the ultrasonic cleaner here once I finish taking it apart. On this motorcycle, it's a twin cylinder. All the jets and stuff are exactly the same, so anything can pretty much cross over from side to side. Now, if you work on a 4-cylinder with 4 carburetors, sometimes the inner 2 are different than the outer 2. So just something to be aware of and pay attention when you take them apart. What you might want to do is label from left to right on the motorcycle, looking from the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make 4 separate containers to put your jets and your hardware and stuff in so that everything goes back together. But I've done a few of these and I know that everything is the same on them. So I'm going to strip these out, throw it in for an ultrasonic soak, and continue cleaning up the bike while that's soaking in the ultrasonic. Haven't seen one of those little fuzzy guys in a while. Okay, now here's one of the issues I have with the ultrasonic cleaner. The one I have, this one's from Harbor Freight, and it's about 70 bucks or so, something like that. It's just not big enough. Even a single carburetor barely fits in it, but if I was working on a rack of 4 carburetors, I'd be done for. It does get nice and hot. And we'll get everything out of here and take a look at it here. And I'm currently using Pine Sol as my cleaner of choice in here, just because I have a lot of it, and a lot of people say it works pretty good. I've had good luck with it. Okay, and we can see it looks really nice in here now. So what I do after soaking it is I do a freshwater rinse, and then I blow it out with the air compressor, all the chambers, blow everything out, and I'll put it back together. And we'll install the carburetor again, and our carburetors, and see how she runs. In the meantime, I have installed the front turn signals, which I had. None of these rear signals really fit, but that's okay. Put a couple bolts in here. Found there was only one bolt for the windshield screw, so I had some laying around for different things. Cleaned up some of the greasy stuff here a little bit. Cleaned up the rear wheel. It's not quite perfect yet. There's a lot of grease on it. I didn't realize it was all silver. I thought it was silver on the outside. And I'm in work cleaning this chain. This chain is probably a lost cause, but it'll be enough to get the bike going. I don't know if I will purchase another one or just recommend that it gets replaced. That's probably what I'm going to do, because I'm looking at doing a quick and reasonably priced sale on this bike. It'll be below market value. 29,700 miles. This is another thing I don't have anything to replace. This cracked plastic and the missing reset knob. Actually, I will look through here. I may have that. It's hard to say. But I've just done some general cleanup on some of these panels as well. In the meantime, while I was waiting for this, did get bolts here, and here, and here, and installed the license plate light cover and replaced the license plate light. The brake light doesn't work, so I need to check that as well. I'll see you back here once the carburetor's installed. Even though I've worked on a lot of these bikes, and almost every time I've worked on a Ninja 250, I've had to take the carburetors out, I still couldn't really give you the best answer as to how to get these carburetors back in. Getting them out is easy. You just wrestle them out. Getting them back in, I would say you need to learn how to curse. A little bit of blood for lubricant might help. My easiest way I've found is to take these carburetor boots completely off, and then I take a screwdriver and I kind of try to get in here and push the whole carburetors back into the boots on the back that go into the air box, and then start to squeeze these in. So I've got this side squeezed in and that side squeezed in, so then I'm going to work them in a little bit at a time until they're seated here, here, and then you have to check on the back that they're seated there as well. It's a real big bunch of fun, and this is a 2-cylinder. 4-cylinder bikes are even worse. Carburetors are installed. Make sure you tighten all these clamps up. 1, 2, and then on the back, there's not really a clamp, it's a spring clamp. Usually what I do is I roll that spring clamp towards the back when I install it, and then roll it forward. And you have to make sure that this rubber boot is all the way around. I had the fuel on for a minute here. All right. No choke. Cold engine. I think we're in the money here. So next thing I'm going to do is install the bracket here for the tank. These bolts were not in my stash, so I got to dig around, find some bolts for that, and then start installing the body work. I've installed these turn signals. I think I already said that. And I'm going to clean up that windshield and install it, and I'll show you what it looks like with the front fairing on. All right, now that's with everything that I have that I received with this bike installed, except for the tool kit, which is under the seat. And it's still dirty, you can see. I'm going to take it out, and we're going to give this thing a nice wash and see how she looks. And I am going to ride it, but I don't think I'm going to get too far. I'm going to go up and down the driveway a couple times because they're working on my street. And the only thing I see that's not working right now is the brake light, and I don't have rear turn signals installed. But everything else appears to be working. Of course, I haven't ridden it yet, so we'll see. And here she is, all put together and cleaned up. And it's looking better than a bike that I paid as little bit of money as I did. It's looking better than you'd expect. still have a few issues to work out on this bike. I did wire in some turn signals. These are some that I had laying around. And since they're LED, let me turn the key on here. They flash a little bit fast, but that's okay. I figured out the brake light. It doesn't work unless it's running. Or it did work. Let me see here. There we go. And oh, the speedometer's not working. So that's the biggest issue right now. And it looks like it's maybe just stuck here from this glass being broken. I may do an entire project, an entire video on just doing that speedometer. I haven't checked anything else. I mean, it could be as simple as the cable being broken. And I am going to do an oil change on this and flush the brake fluid. And that will be about it. And then it's going to be on the market. I haven't ridden it any more than up and down the driveway, but it does seem to work okay. I will shift it up through all the gears and make sure it works, but it is a decent looking bike. I'm not going to say what I paid for it, but I feel like I got a pretty good deal considering. So hopefully in a day or so this thing will be ready for market. Not bad. Not a bad little machine. And I really like working on these. Like I said, they're not too hard to work on. I have a stash of parts. Luckily, I used a lot of little fasteners on this thing. That sort of thing will cost you a lot of money, along with things like these mirrors. They're very expensive. This upper fairing, if it's broken, is very expensive. The lower cowls are cheap, and the rear pieces are pretty reasonable, but this upper cowl is very expensive, and a tank is very expensive. In fact, I could sell those two items for more than I paid for this bike. But it's a good machine, I think it will be for a beginner. Usually someone buys one of these, rides it for 3 to 6 months, and then moves on to something else. So that's what they're made for. Or if you're into a very reasonable commuter. Awesome. If you're liking what I'm putting out, give me that thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button down below. All that sort of stuff. I love making these videos. I love sharing and hopefully inspiring some of y'all to get out and work on some stuff, or at least take a look at it, you know, because this world is a little too disposable for me. I hate to see that kind of stuff going in the trash. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.